Hi all. For today's class, we are going to be going over how to use the ruler tool as well as how to crop our images. To begin, you're going to go into your modules and you're going to find a JPEG file that says crookedlandscape.jpg, and you're going to go and open that into Photoshop. You should get this image right here. It's got the hill in the background, some trees, and the water here with a nice sun gleaming off of it. Now, the difficulty with when I took this picture is I did not have the camera completely level, so it ended up giving me that crooked line on the landscape, and I'd rather have the horizon be an actual horizontal line. So to fix that, we'll be using the ruler tool. Now, before we get started, I always like to have a copy of the background. So we're going to come over here, drag the background layer down onto the layers, and now we got a background copy. We'll go ahead and turn the old one off. Now, to get to the ruler tool, by default, it's going to likely show the eyedropper tool. Just long click on that, and it'll bring up the list. You're going to go down to the ruler tool and select it. And the way it works is you click and drag to whatever point you want, and whatever line you make, that's going to be what you consider to be horizontal for your image. So if I click and drag here along my horizon and then let it go, it leaves this nice line here. And up at the top you can click straighten layer, and it makes that our new horizontal line. So one thing you'll notice is in the corners we got all this empty space now, and you'll remember that the checkered pattern means that it's nothing there. It's the alpha is set to 0 there. What we're going to have to do next is actually crop our image. So to actually crop the image, we're going to go up to the 5th icon down, and by default it should be the cropping tool. If it's not, you just long hold on it and select crop tool, and it's going to start by saying ratio and then have 2 blank boxes. Unless you've done this before, it may have whatever you had last on there. But by default, ratio is going to be blank blank. Now this is going to be your width in the first one and your height in the second one. So if I wanted to, I could make this a, I don't know, I want it to be 10 wide by 3 tall. Make it into a nice panoramic shot, or whatever I wanted it to be. If you click here, it gives you a couple different options. The second one down gives you the option for width, then height, and then actual resolution. So we could make it same thing, 10 by 3, and we want it to have a 300 pixels per inch as our resolution. Again, probably not what I'm going to go with. If you click back here, you can have it set to whatever the original ratio is of the image. So if it was all the way up here, of course I can't get it in there perfectly even right now, but deal with that later. But this keeps it at the exact same ratio that the original image was taken in. There we go. Again, not what I'm wanting to do though. We could do one of these presets. We've got a 1x1 square, or we could do 4x5, 5x7, 2x3, 16x9. What I'm wanting for this is going to be basically a postcard. For that, I'm wanting to do a 6 wide by 4 tall. Now this preset comes as 2x3, which is the same as 4x6. But I'm actually wanting it the other way around. So if I click this double arrow right here, it switches that to 3x2, which again, same as 6x4. And then I just have to set it up where I'm wanting everything at. You can click and hold anywhere on the image and it drags it around. So I'm wanting it to be right there for the top left corner. And about there for that corner. That being said, I want the image to be a little further over because I really want this sunlight over here. Here we go. Now I'll probably drag it down a little bit. Okay. Alright. And that gives me my hill in the background, my sunlight over on the right, and got that nice level horizon. Once you got it to the size that you want it and in the right position for how you want it, just click the check mark, and it has officially cropped it to where you wanted it at. Now if I were to turn that off, turn the original back on, you can see the difference here. Much more level. That's exactly how I was wanting it. Now one thing to keep in mind, I'm going to actually back up a little. A little further than I thought I would. Now up here on these check marks, by default, delete cropped pixels is set, which basically means that, let's put this on here again. Go. There we are. Okay, we're back into the position that we're wanting it. So if we have this turned on, everything that is outside of this area is going to get deleted. I'm not a huge fan of deleting anything really, so I'm going to turn that off. Okay. And then click the check mark. And now I can go up here to my move tool if I wanted to, if I decided it wasn't quite the position I wanted it. And I can actually drag the image around to get it back to where I wanted it. That way everything is still there. You can actually see the bounding box outside of the canvas area. And I can drag it around however I need to be able to get the image that I'm wanting. There we go. Alright, so we're going to name this layer leveled and cropped. There we go. And then just remember to save it and turn it in as a Photoshop file, the PSD. And that is all this lesson. Thank you much. Bye.